I'm Sal.
I'm Beth.
We are the brewery lovers, here to tell you about how we kind of got to Vermont. Some of you may have seen 21 breweries in Vermont in 7 minutes. We actually took a little bit longer to visit them all. 10 days?
Mm-hmm.
10 days, 21. That's not too bad. And we got to see some of the best. Didn't see them all because there's 60, how many?
I think there's almost 70. It's impossible to keep count.
It's true.
Breweries mostly come, but sometimes go.
Yeah,
So,
true.
And a lot of them are closed on Monday and Tuesday.
So Beth is a genius planner. She's the route planner. So she sits down with the map. She looks at towns where we need to be. How do you get there? How do you get there without burning the least amount of gas? Because it's an RV, obviously that's an issue. Decided to go to upstate New York, spend the night there rather than all the way to Vermont, which is 9 hours or something. So on our way to New York, Beth had planned this route that would put us around New Paltz for the night. We realized we were going to be going right past Reddington in New Jersey, which we had visited Reddington in the spring when the hops were, this tall.
Little baby hops.
We hadn't been there later in the year now we actually were too late because most of them had been
They had already been harvested.
It was a tough year for hops on the East Coast because of drought. Hops are difficult to grow
Drought and heat.
on the East Coast, no matter what. The heat and humidity, there's every pest known to man attacks hops. There's a butterfly called hop merchant because it prefers to destroy hops. That gives you an idea. It's a really challenging crop to grow. But we went back to Reddington on our way to New York, and that's the video. You can check it out. Got to see a lot of hops, actually.
Yep.
And we don't know, they probably were Cascades, but they were the ones that they didn't harvest because I think they got kind of fried in the drought. But they were there, and we got to see them and, smell them, and that was fun. So anyway, Reddington's you'll see in the video, Reddington's a really pretty little brewery out. It seems like it's out in the country. It really isn't. If you look at a map, it's surrounded by development, but it's this little parcel of open land there in Reddington, New Jersey, near Flemington, and a really cool place to visit.
Yeah.
We spent the night up near New Paltz, New York, a town called Gardiner. Gardiner is this tiny little town.
Yeah.
7,000 or something, the population.
I think it had one traffic light.
Yeah, and 2 breweries. Not bad, right? That sounds like a perfect destination. It turned out to be more perfect than we even expected because we didn't know half the story before we got there. We'll get to that. But first we had to get to Gardiner.
Before you tell that story, you want me to open this beer?
Yeah, open a beer. So the vehicle is 11 feet tall. Okay, we were drinking Sierra
Liquid
Nevada,
happiness.
which is like completely inappropriate for this video.
No, it's raining. The whole world is liquid today.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, we
had 2 beer events canceled this weekend, so
Liquid hoppiness.
liquid happiness.
See, she found the connection.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's not made in New York.
I create the connection.
It's not from a brewery we visited.
We'll get there.
Oh, we'll definitely get there. But it's actually a fairly new variety for Sierra, and we wanted to try it. Can't go wrong with Sierra, let's be honest. The vehicle's 11 feet tall. So we have to be careful of bridge clearances. However, we were using just our regular GPS
Yep.
on the phone. And we were in Washingtonville, New York. Which was, that wasn't a destination. That was where we had to go to get to.
It was just a town that we were going to go through
Cheers.
on our way to
New
Gardiner.
Paltz. Yeah, Gardiner, right, which is near New Paltz. So every time we tried to leave this town of Washingtonville, we came across a 9-foot bridge clearance.
Try this road. Try
Didn't
this
work.
road. Turn around, turn around, turn around.
It's like, I know what this is. This is an old railroad track that, is probably from the 19th century when there was no tractor trailers and semis on the road. And so, what do? Well, we went to unfortunately I had seen, because we were crisscrossing trying to get out of this town, I had seen the police station, a big giant sign in front of it. I said, well, maybe we'll just go ask for help. And we did. So the young officer who helped us just could not have been nicer. He was so gracious
And he really knew the roads.
yeah, he really
around.
knew. Like
He knew exactly which road didn't have a bridge.
He was the human GPS, and he gave us very detailed directions. 1, 2, 3, like the old days. Remember that? How do you get to? Oh, well, let me draw you a map. Lost art. Policemen though can still know how to do that.
I went in with my GPS and my map, and he got us where we needed to
Got
be.
us where
We
we
made
needed
it
to be.
around and got back on the road the way we were supposed to be. And
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So we promptly, like that day, downloaded a truck-friendly GPS. Well, I guess it's really RV-friendly.
RV,
We'll put the link in the
yeah.
doobly-doo.
So we put in exactly how tall our vehicle is, how heavy our vehicle
yeah,
is,
so it's height, weight,
and then it sends
length.
us on the right roads.
Yep.
We're learning.
Hopefully.
There's a lot of learning curves.
It's a big learning curve. The first brewery that we visited in Gardiner is a place called Yard Owl. And kind of unexpected. Well, as I said, Beth does all the research. I came into this place cold. I didn't know what it was going to be. Turns out it's really a Belgian brewery. But this little, really accomplished little Belgian brewery in Gardiner, New York. Make almost exclusively Belgian styles. Really interesting when you walk in. They have all these old classic American beer brands up on the wall. It's kind of... Which is
not what they serve.
It's not what they sell. It was confusing. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. Peel's Real Draft and Rheingold and Pabst Blue Ribbon. But it's a Belgian brewery, really. They had this really cool little New York beer map showing some of the bigger breweries and the You Are Here. But we were impressed that this little town of Gardiner had 2 breweries, and they were, this one was excellent. The other one, a different story. We loved it, but we didn't get to try their beer.
They also had a map of Belgium.
Also a map of Belgium, of course.
Since everything's Belgian. Almost everything's
definitely,
Belgian
definitely into the old American brands. When I saw this Schmitz Bock beer go by, I was like, wow. That brought back some memories. We drank a fair amount of that when we were young people because it was one of the few beers you could get in Trenton, New Jersey that had any kind of flavor. Schmitz was made in Philadelphia back in the day. Of course, by today's standards, probably not flavorful at all, but back then, we were like, man, this stuff's
70s.
good. You can actually taste this beer. Something's going on here. I would love to get a hold of some of that and see what it's like by today's standards. Also, this place is right on a bike path. Nice little backyard.
Yes, there was a lot of people on bikes. Lots of kids, like very kid-friendly.
Yeah, it was really a nice little brewery, and the beer was superb, I thought. These goofy unitanks, we've encountered these a couple of times. We saw these out in Delaware.
Yep.
Really tiny, teeny Pico brewery almost here. But they're doing a great job. The beer was solid. Really like the peach
we had a
Saison,
peach
I think.
farmhouse.
Tell them what we had.
Peach farmhouse, Owlet Saison, a cafe Saison that was made with the coffee from a local roastery, and a heritage wit.
Mm-hmm. I thought they were all excellent. I particularly liked the peach Saison. And we're not huge Saison people.
Oh, look, there's my notes. See?
There's your notes. We're not huge Saison people, but we do appreciate them. And these were really good.
Everything was great.
And it's funny
Great
because
little place.
our real destination was Gardiner Brewing, named after the town it's in, obviously. But Gardiner Brewing is actually at Wright's farm. And this is the part I didn't know. I had no idea what we were going to find. Wright's farm is just this unbelievable operation. Family-run farm. Dates back to 1904.
Yeah, it's 5th generation.
Yeah.
Great big operation. Beautiful farm store. So much to look at and purchase.
They have beer and fudge. What's not to love?
And food and music.
Food and music.
They had it all.
Been there forever. There's an old sign from the 50s probably. Here's one, referencing the date, 1904. Just gorgeous. They converted this old red barn into a really nice brewery and tasting room. Actually, the brewery is in the other building. This is just the tasting room. Boy, is it beautiful. What we figured out is that this thing is huge, and they are all about apples. They grow a lot of stuff. They actually even grow hops.
Yep.
I was sort of just wandering around the property one day, and I found a hop harvester. I'm like, well, this is interesting. But no evidence of hops. Like, we couldn't find them because the thing is, the place is huge. I mean,
acres and acres and acres.
But we ran it. We met the co-owner, the mom, basically.
Right.
But that was before I had seen the hop machine, and then we saw the dad coming out. We were wandering around, taking a walk, and he stopped and chatted with us. Super nice people. Oh my God, they were so nice.
Very nice people.
But I said, hey, do you grow hops here? He said, oh yeah, we grow hops here. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. He said, this year not so great because
it was so dry.
Of the drought. But anyway, really interesting place. They're doing all kinds of stuff. They're growing hops. They're starting to grow barley and wheat and other products other produce that they can use in their beer. The problem was this particular visit, we did not have a chance to taste their beer because they were having sort of a perfect storm. They were working.
They're renovating the brew house.
Renovating the brew house and the brewer.
Enlarging the system.
And the brewer had a baby.
Just had a baby.
Like, it was like, no way. There's no beer.
There's beer. They had beer.
They had lots of beer. Because in New York.
Regional beers.
Right, in New York.
But not made there at Gardiner.
In New York, you can serve other New York breweries beers in your brewery. And it was like a New York centric tasting room. And we had some nice beers. What did we have?
Yeah, we had Naysayer by Rushing Duck and Neon Rainbow by Omegang.
Yeah, and we liked them both.
And they were both great.
Yeah, we liked them both. And again, Omegang is known as a Belgian style brewery, but they make a banging IPA. But it was fall, obviously. These flowers were probably past their prime, but it's still pretty nice.
Yeah, it's still pretty.
Beautiful garden next to the patio. They had live music. Here's the old barn. Just look at this place.
Tasting room.
Just gorgeous.
It was a gorgeous evening, so everybody was outside.
Yeah, most people outside. It did get crowded, though, later. Just a lot of these. This is authentic. These aren't like bought at an antique store. They probably just were kicking around the property. This incredible back room for overflow, just gorgeous. This tin ceiling, and there was an old Hammond B3 organ in there. I don't know why. Pretty cool. You don't see that every day. But just a really nice place, and this was funny. No Wi-Fi. Welcome to Gartucky. Pretend it's 1904. We've seen that in other breweries.
Yeah, we have.
Not that sign
exactly. But
yeah, no Wi-Fi. Pretend it's 19 whatever. Really decent selection of stuff, even though they didn't have any of their own at the time. But they'll be back. It's just a matter of time when they get the renovation.
Things settle.
Yeah, when things settle down. Really, just a beautiful place to visit. The tasting room. Okay, forget about the rest of it. Then, holy crap. This unbelievable farm market, rather. With just anything you can imagine. Fresh tomatoes.
And then some.
Garlic. Here's the fudge. Meat products, cider, wine, and bonus, it's a harvest host, which is kind of that's why we went there to begin with.
Yeah, that's how I found it initially.
So we were planning to spend the night here. And you don't know what to expect. Obviously, I didn't look at the website. There might have been photos on the website, but I didn't look. She did. This is a campground they refer to as Stonehenge for obvious reasons. Kind of cute. Not as big as the real thing, but... And
here's Druids.
Here's Bleep making her way to the Harvest Host parking area. And you get out here and it's just apples as far as the eye can see. It was unbelievable. Red apples, green apples, yellow apples. Because they do pick your own. Families go out there on weekends and pick your own apples. It's fun. And boy, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, so there was a bunch of other RVs there. I think there was 6 RVs.
Yeah, it was Labor Day weekend.
That night. Oh, yeah, it was Labor Day weekend.
So it was... And
then there was a hip camp, which is camping. Yeah, so there was a bunch of families camping, too, right nearby.
But tons of space, well prepared. This was mown and clean. There wasn't a lot of mud and sand, and it was level.
Nice.
So
level is good.
From an RV point of view, it was a really superb place to stay. And just beautiful.
Oh, and then the bonus.
We see this airplane keep crisscrossing the sky. What's this about? Then you see.
There was a little airport nearby.
Yeah, but Then you see why the airplane is always in the sky. He's dropping skydivers. We'll put the link in the thing. Just you sit there, you got your beer, you're watching the sun go down, and these parachutes.
Sitting in your yard chair, lawn chair.
It was surreal. It was
just watching
so
people
amazing.
jump out of airplanes.
Yeah. So we went to bed pretty early. We normally do, and
Campers midnight.
got up with the sun, which we typically do, and I look out the window. It's like, what? Oh, well, you describe it. It was a pre-coffee moment.
Yeah, he said, "Look out your window." So I look out, and I'm thinking, elk, moose, deer, like, what exciting is going to be out there? And he says, "Really?" And I look, like, right in front of me. And it's our Echo.
It's our RV.
And I hadn't had coffee yet. So my first thought was, how do we get over there?
It was an RVer's out-of-body experience. What the heck is
It
going
looked
on?
just like ours. It had an awning. It had no graphics.
It, almost exactly like ours. And he had come in late after we went to bed, and it was our
So
friend.
we didn't see him come in.
It was our friend Eduardo that we know from the Facebook group, and we had this really amazing Echo reunion. And he even posted that day, "What are the odds? This is my first harvest host, and there's another Echo here. There aren't too many Echoes out there." So that was really an incredible
It
coincidence.
was a moment.
But the real fun part well, obviously it was fun getting to see Eduardo in person and talk to him in real time as opposed to in Facebook posts. But Eduardo has a drone. Eduardo's like a gearhead. He's an electrical engineer. And he took this incredible drone footage of that's us, actually. That's our Echo
Pulling out.
leaving. And also you can kind of get a feel for how beautiful this place is.
And how many apples there are.
And that's another video. Check out the drone video. But that's pretty much it. On our way to Vermont. So we'll continue the story when we get to Bennington. And as always, we appreciate you watching. And don't forget to subscribe. Good?
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.